easy.
Is this the right place to display them? Very cute. Yeah, when I ordered them, I didn't know what 50 centimetres was, and then when they arrived, I was like, oh, it's massive. Well, thank you for having me today. Thank you, Steve, for the opportunity. I really enjoyed all the team talks, they're so valuable, and I thought, well, that's my aim today, is to just give you some value. I don't waffle on too much about myself, but basically I'm a clinical hypnotherapist down the road in Sedgeburgh, not too far away. I work online as well as in my little garden cabin. Shut myself down there like generally you do the same, don't you? You've got to work properly, separate from the house, separate entrance, and I help people with all sorts. Back to our marketing, you know, guru, Peter, what on earth, who do you market to? Anybody. I see anybody that's got a worry, a concern, loss of confidence, anxiety, phobias, will stop smoking from about 8 years, I think it's my youngest client, up to 90 was my oldest client. So your brain is never too old to be rewired for success. And people often ask me, do I have a magic wand?
Yeah.
No, I have to not. I have to rely on people's intent really to change, and their, I suppose, their belief in their self once they get going. So I give them that little push to get started, and then it builds and builds, and we get that nice snowball. But I just love helping people. That's my main aim. I used to work in hospitality, and if anyone has ever had a job in hospitality, you'll know you are on call, beck and call. You know, I used to organise weddings, which was really quite stressful at times. So anything that can reduce your stress in your daily life, I'm happy to give you some tips for really. So the hypnosis that I do with people is really anybody that wants to, say, feel less overwhelmed, stressed, annoyed, scared, worried. And when we feel a little bit of stress, then we can be a bit motivated. It can give us a little push. But once it gets too far to a level that we're not comfortable with, then we can be in that horrible fight or flight mode where you know, you feel like you're pulling your hair out, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're annoyed. See a lot of people that are really angry and they don't want to be anymore, but they can't stop. You know, it's all just those primitive responses. As cave people, we would have had to fight our way out of danger sometimes. We would have hidden away sometimes, or sometimes we would have just pelted away from that bear. So all of that adrenaline and cortisol running through our systems, we don't really need it on a day-to-day basis. You know, we're just probably, I don't know about you, driving is maybe the most life-threatening thing we do, especially around the roundabouts of Evesham. We don't need to be on high alert. You know, in that emergency state, we're not thinking clearly, we're not processing details, we're not digesting properly, we're not resting and recharging, and we're not giving ourselves that space to be the best version of ourselves. So yeah, over time our brains can become a bit more worried and anxious and collect more templates for worry, and then we can get in a right pickle. And that's at the point where people come to me and say, oh, I've tried everything else. And I always think, oh, that's a shame, try me first. Because feeling stressed is not pleasant at all. You don't have to read all this, but these are just feelings and physical effects. You know, that if you're overly stressed, probably not telling you things, you know, that you don't already know, feeling just reluctant to get involved in daily activities, lonely, poor decision making, choosing unhealthy coping methods, like John was saying about your chapter, because he decided himself. You know, I never decide what's appropriate for people, I let them make their own goals. But you know, lack of satisfaction in life generally happens when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Poor relationships, and it can be a bit of a downward spiral. And we use in solution focused work this stress bucket example. Imagine you've got tons of different things dripping in, sometimes pouring in to this bucket. You've only got a certain amount of space. These are just some examples. Life events which can be good, getting a mortgage and moving on, you know, but stressful. You know, worries about health, worries about relationships, finances, anything that's stressful above what you can tolerate really. Once your bucket gets full, if you're caring for elderly parents, massive stress bucket already full. If you've got teenagers, very stressful. You know, it doesn't take a lot, does it, to fill that bucket up some days. And you know, my clients do say to me quite regularly, "Oh, my stress bucket was a bit full that day." You know, things went badly wrong really quickly. You know, and it's what I work with people is a process of just emptying that out, helping your intellectual mind to see a proper perspective, really, to get a decent plan in action and to feel confident to carry it out. So, what causes you to feel stress? I don't want to dwell on this too long, but imagine every ball you've got on the table is a stress. Here's my stress bucket. So, if you want to, just maybe cathartic actually. Shout out a stress. Shall I go to you guys first because you're on the biggest table?
Well, I
Give me some stress
have 3 teenagers. I get 3 balls.
Anybody else got a stress? Doesn't even have to be yours. Something that you can think of that might be stressful in life. You don't have to tell me all your problems.
My husband made it uniform, kids growing out of uniform.
Ironing. Can we have that as well?
Yeah.
Ironing.
Blowing the jobs.
Oh, very stressful. I'll give it another one in there for you. What have you got, John? Moles.
Moles.
Oh, moles! I went to meet her for a lovely back garden. Within 2 weeks, the whole thing was destroyed. Again, I'm going to get another one for moles. What you got, Christine? Horrible, horrible. Thank you. What have you guys got in mind? Anything stressful?
Telesalesman.
When they say, "How are you?" and I just want to go.
Get to the point.
I was fine until I answered your call.
Traffic jams.
Lenders, especially Barclays.
Actually, I'm going to put one for Barclays.
Oh, there you
For different reasons.
go. What you got, Lisa? Oh!
Driving down the motorway and everything else you can think of, but I can't put myself together
Just life.
outside of this one thing.
What you got, John?
Everything.
Life.
Lovely.
Fair enough. Not going to argue with that. What have you got,
Gonna
Tim?
love this, right? Care homes, social workers, bad debts,
Oh yeah.
yeah, cold callers, definitely, and also callers that just phone and hang up as soon as you say, and they just put the phone down and you think,
Hate that.
oh, I was talking to someone on another line.
No.
Typical. And the next one, yeah, traffic jams.
Traffic is such a problem. Well, as you can see, we've got quite a lot going on here, haven't we? Are you ready for any more? We've got more. Have I given you too much time to think?
Yeah.
I'm calm down now.
Gardening.
Oh,
Fake people.
oh. Well, thank you. That's loaded my stress bucket up nicely.
Go on, let's go to the pub.
You know, I think the what can we do about it is what I do with people in the sessions, and we look at how we can reduce stress. So the first P of the positives being interactions. So today, for example, because I'm trusting that if you hated networking, that you wouldn't be here. So we're having a nice chat with Peter about various things. You know, there's loads of different things that we've experienced today. Lots of takeaways. We have loads of different interactions. It might just be with a neighbour putting the bin out and saying hi, and they might not have anyone else to speak to all day. You know, you've brightened someone's life just by saying hello for a few moments, being pleasant as you check out your shopping in the supermarkets, and also proper interactions. So the ones that you've thought out and you've made an arrangement to go and see somebody, or you've got, you know, somebody to call. It doesn't always have to be face to face, it can be digital as well. Anything that brings you fun and enjoyment and makes you feel good, not the mood hoovers of the world. Try and minimise that as much as possible. Next P being activities and actions. So that can be anything from macrame to karate, any single activity. I love to use the example of something like sorting out the cutlery drawer, right? About 40 times a day, I was jamming my cutlery drawer and I just couldn't get it to function properly, and I've got the tin opener was stuck into the cling film, and I don't know what it was, pumpkin carvers, never used like 1 week a year, and it was all jammed, and I sorted it all out, put it all back, and that took me 10 minutes. I put a little Ziploc bag, it was things I didn't use very often, put it in another cupboard, and then 40 times a day I'm going, oh, that's really nice. And it's just the gift that keeps giving, you know. It's a silly little example, but it's a positive action. It can be something organisational, it can be something fun, relaxing, not a chore, not something that you have to do, it's something you've chosen. It could be making someone a cup of tea or holding a door open. Wide and various, anything sporting, anything hobby-wise. And the last positive P is about thinking. I don't tend to focus clients too much on that because I don't buy that whole toxic positivity, positive vibes.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't work. You know, it doesn't, because if you don't do positive actions and interactions and activities, you don't tend to think positively, so focus on the first two, and then you're likely to feel a bit more positive in your thinking. So those are the positive P's, and they produce a neurotransmitter in our brain called serotonin, which helps us feel a bit more buoyant, a bit more happy, a bit less bothered by stuff that might normally irritate us. Just, it's a mood balancer, and it helps empty out that stress bucket. So if you're doing something pleasant, you're going to remove some stress and some tension. And our brain really needs those repetitions. It eventually helps us move away from an automatic negative reaction. So Lisa and I trained at the same therapy school with a chap called Gary. First day in, first morning, he said where he'd come from, and it was about a 2.5-ish hour drive, was it, I suppose, for him. And my first reaction was, oh, it must have been awful. Because we had to start at about 9:45 or 10ish, didn't we, on a weekend. And he did both days. And he said, no, it's lovely. It was May when I started. Beautiful weather, lovely early mornings. Anyway, point being, I assumed that was horrible. 2.5 hour drive on a weekend. He said, it's brilliant, I put my podcast on, really enjoy it. No one else on the road. So what you think is what your reality is, and this is all sort of your, you know, where you were going, Christina, isn't it, with your coaching, putting people's positive, awakening it really, switching on the light bulb and going, oh, there's another option, there's another way of thinking. If you twist it and see the benefits, not what you're taking away. So when I work with weight management clients, they don't say, oh, I love to look forward to my salad tonight, but I'll say, but your positive choice is giving you a small step towards your goal. That's what you really want. I'm not taking away biscuits. You know, we're giving you the choice of health and vitality and confidence, and it's what you're getting back, not what you're taking away. So I call this the vomit slide. I do this for initial consultations. It's mad. There's too much on there to read in one go. But the stress bucket analogy works with all the little, I mean not all, loads of different examples of things that can drip in. Some of the greens are positive things that you can use to drain out that stress bucket, because ideally we want to be down here with some spare capacity. In the middle of the bucket, you're all right, but it's not going to take long to fill back up. And at the top of the bucket, you're in potential overwhelm, loss of control, feeling, sorry, it's my head completely in the way, everyone see. You're just in overwhelm and you're not going to be able to function too well. If anyone wants a copy of any of these slides, you can let me know. So, what positive P's are there, do you reckon, in your life? And we can take out, I won't give you them back, there's one in the basket over there. Give me an example on this table. What's a nice thing, a pleasant thing, an interesting and enjoyable thing, a nice thought, something that might help relieve your stress. Or you don't even have to do it, you think, oh, I might like to do that. Anyone got an example? Put you on the spot now. Sorry, John.
Came for a book.
Nice. Lovely. Like a little
I
walk.
got it opposite to Gemma, so you said gardening, I love it. So that's
Nice.
That's coming in my garden for me.
Lovely.
Crochet, having making some crochet.
Nice. Are you working on something at the moment? See, it's aspirational. You can do it anytime you want to. Anybody else got anything pleasant or nice or interesting?
Aforementioned 3 teenagers when they're being nuts.
Nice. Yeah,
Which does happen.
we'll take 3 hours for that. Lovely. Any more before we move on?
Walking around with my mates, we did Snowdon and again Scaffold.
Wow. That's amazing. My hubby did that with the 3 peaks, but they were so focused on doing it within the time frame that they forgot to look up and around at the scenery. They did it so, they didn't actually do it that fast. But yeah, it was a great opportunity for just taking your mind, isn't it, away from the day-to-day worries.
Just focus on it.
Perfect. John, anything interesting or nice or pleasant that you do or you would like to do to ease your stress and worry?
Yes, I suppose my daughter's just had a divorce, and I can't wait for her to be less stressed in her life because that's stressing me.
Absolutely right. That's worth more than a couple of. Let's get that in perspective. Oh, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Anybody else? I don't really want to put you on the spot, but anyone else got an idea of stress, worry? Dog walking, horse riding? Anything to take away? Oh, lovely.
Another bit peak climber here.
Oh,
3 peaks that last week.
amazing. Did you? Oh gosh. And you're walking
Not
still?
in 24 hours.
No distance?
28 hours we managed it.
Brilliant. Oh, well done.
Good.
That's amazing. Brilliant. Well, look, we're on the way to emptying out that stress bucket, aren't we? I know it's a, you know, it's a simplified version, isn't it? But you know, taking a stock of what we do already in our day, what we could inject a little bit of fun, excitement, interest, you know, something else that we might like to do for 5 minutes. You know, I forgot to put my nail polish on, I'm sorry. I thought I might do that. I might have time, but I had to go and play with my puppy in the garden instead. So for me, new dog, new puppy in the house, wreaking havoc meant that my nails were the casualty. But I don't mind. That was more enjoyable for me playing tug with my little Cavapoo. So whatever it is enjoyable for you. Yeah, I love being outside. I love going for walks. I did try crochet once, so I just ended up with a really long string. I didn't know what to do with it. So maybe you can give us some tips. So thank you for that. I think that's just a nice, you know, and you've got some examples on here. Go to the cinema, have a bath. Here's the lovely towels folded nicely in the corner, relaxing, exercise, so many different things. You find what you fancy doing best. Now, I'm not going to talk all about this really, but these next 3 slides are examples of things that I do with my clients. What's being good, keep a little note, why is it good? And then at the start of every session, you know, give me the highlights. Stress action plan. If you're worried about something like a deadline, what can you do about it? So we're all about the action. So find something that you can do. Yes, write down the problems, but be focusing on the solution and take a little note of just the very first thing that you can do. So just communicate that to somebody, your line manager or customer or whatever it is, that for that example. You know, if you've got a massive pile of laundry, what you're going to do, you've got to go systematically, just do the first thing, the first load, sort that out. You know, don't try and overwhelm yourself with a massive task, just do it in bite-sized chunks. Positivity bingo, quite like to give this one to adults as well as the kids. How many can you do in a week? And remember that all of those positive interactions and activities and thoughts boost your serotonin production, keeping your stress levels low. And that's me done. I'm a shameless plug. I'm doing a relaxation session. I've done this will be my 3rd next week. If anybody fancies coming along to Sedgeborough Village Hall, I'm do an hour and a half. Well, it's a half-hour chat really, and then an hour session where we just look at we do a bit of what's been good, we do a bit of goal setting, and then the ladies last time brought yoga mats and they just led on the floor, so it was really nice. Just chill out session. So if you fancy coming on to that in Sedgeborough next week, it's the 7th of July, and I'll probably give August a break and I might start again in the summer. after the summer. So thank you everybody.